Panther Productions, the world's leading martial arts video producers, presents JuJutsu Volume 2, Intermediate and Advanced Techniques by Master Sato, 8th Dan, one of Japan's leading authorities in the art of Jiu-Jitsu and Judo. Now, before attempting Volume 2, you should have mastered the fundamentals on Jiu-Jitsu Volume 1 of Master Sato's video. They taught you the proper break-falling techniques and proper footwork, strikes, and arm-locking techniques. The tape is a continuous series of fighting techniques. Remember, Jiu-Jitsu is an art never to be misused. You only use it if your life is in danger. In this tape, I will begin with choke-holding techniques. These are very lethal and dangerous techniques, so use extreme caution when applying them to your opponent. The first is a rear choke. Watch carefully. With the hands open, I grip my opponent around the throat, locking in my palms. Go around, palm on palm, right hand on top, locking thumbs around each other. When I apply pressure, my shoulder pushes down on the back of the opponent's head, and I bring my head to the side of his ear. He is helpless. Your opponent must slap when he feels pressure. That is your signal to stop. It takes little pressure to choke or knock out your opponent. Now look at it from the side. My rear leg is up high on the ball of the foot. My right knee is very straight. Keep it high on the ball of the foot so you can get the proper leverage. I slide in. Secure my lead knee behind my opponent's back. Choke. Quickly. Now the next technique is similar, but we grip the collar of the opponent's uniform. The same lethal effect will result. I come underneath his left arm, grabbing his lapel. The right hand comes around, also grabbing the same lapel. Grip tightly. Now, grab the other lapel with the left hand. Again, using your shoulder for leverage. Push down and pull back at the same time. Again, grab with the left, switch to the other lapel, apply. Now, another variation of that is to go underneath, apply, and raise his arm, choking behind his neck with the left hand. Look at it carefully from the side. Same foot position, getting tremendous leverage. Grab. Now, raise his left arm, bring your left hand behind his back, pull in and push back on his head with your hand. The choke is very, very deadly. Now, from another angle. Notice how I get in tight on my opponent. Coming around, disabling his arm. Choking. Again. Grab his collar. And instead of your shoulder applying pressure, it's your other hand. Quickly. Your opponent is defenseless. This is the next action. Your palms are facing down, right hand on top. Imagine grabbing your opponent's lapels, or alternate hands grabbing with palms up. From a standing position, you are in close fighting. With the left hand, grab the collar. With the right hand, grab. Now the action is to drive down with your elbows, pulling your opponent towards you, choking. As you can see, my assistant lost his wind on that technique with little pressure. So you can imagine when you're striking full power and squeezing as hard as you can. Watch again. You should be practicing with an opponent and being very cautious. Now, the left palm is up, right palm is down. Hands are crossed when you grab. With your opponent on the ground, you move in and apply the same technique. Grabbing the collar snugly. The other side. Left hand palm up, right hand palm down. Lean over him with all your body weight, pushing your elbows into his throat. Grab. Left hand. Pull in and push out with the right hand. Notice the action. This is a virtually unescapable hold that I have my opponent in. Now reverse with the palms upward. This is a simple variation of the technique. Left hand inside, right hand inside, palms up. Flipping your opponent on top of you, or if he attempts an attack on top of you, pull in and push up with your shoulders. Watch my hands. It takes little effort. Either palms down or palms up, or palm up and palm down. Now, avoiding a frontal attack, catching his collars and pushing up on his throat. Watch closely. Underneath, grab the collars. Push up hard into the Adam's apple. Now, we are going to work jujutsu techniques against a grab. Break away from his thumb as you pull back. Pull against the grip. Immediately follow with a shuto or open hand strike to his eyes. Quickly. Give a shout or ki on contact. Now, sidestep slightly, reverse his grip. Grab his wrist, push down, holding his hand with your other hand. This will subdue your opponent, and if he resists, you can easily break his wrist. Now your opponent grabs with two hands. Sidestep, weaken his stance. Break out against his thumb grip. Grab his arm and push down on his elbow as you bring him to the mat. The twisty motion will break his grip. Hold on to his outside arm. Draw him back. He will go to the ground. Now quickly. Watch carefully. You lead him to a position he cannot escape from. These similar techniques were taught in volume 1 of my video. They now become a little more complicated. Quickly. As you can see, he is made helpless. Now the attacker is grabbing both wrists with both of his hands. Open his arms, kick into the groin with the ball of your foot. Reverse the grip by holding his wrist and throw him over your hip. Again, fundamental hip throws were taught in video 1 of fundamental techniques. The kick to the groin will hurt him and stun him and leave him vulnerable for the hip throw. Watch. Now the same technique in slow motion. Full speed, but slow down so you can see each important movement. This attack could happen very easily on the street, in your neighborhood. A thug comes in, and you react quickly, sending him to the cement. Notice how I step in deep, get him way over my hip. If he didn't know how to fall properly, he could easily break his back. Now the attack is to the side. He grabs my wrist. With the arch of my hand, I push away, back knuckle his nose, break his nose. As you can see, not all jiu-jitsu techniques are grabbing and throwing techniques. We do apply fundamental karate strikes. So when attacked this way, someone grabs you, tries to pull you away, pull you into a car or an alleyway, do not panic. React by going to the gripping hand. Striking down, it's virtually impossible for him to hold on. Smash, break his nose, then escape. Now the opponent attempts to grab my collar. Again, a very common assault in a street situation. I break his nose quickly, take his wrist, break it down. A quick punch, immediately, turn his wrist around, at a 90-degree angle, bend it straight forward. Step back for leverage in your stance. Stances and footwork, again, were taught in Volume 1. Now in slow motion, this is the time to follow along with me. Even if you don't have an opponent, work the techniques in a mirror. Draw back, and all the pressure is on his wrist. Very, very painful. Now he grabs my arm, my sleeve. I draw to the side again to weaken his stance position. Come around with my right arm, secure his hand with my left, and lock down on his wrist. As you move, an attacker will have a tendency to tighten his grip, which is better for you. His first reaction will be to hold on, and that's his first mistake. If he was smart, he would just let go and pull away. Strengthen your stance position by stepping back to the side. Come around high with the right hand. Secure the other hand. Lock straight down. And he's finished. As you can see, Jiu-Jitsu uses the man's technique against himself. Now a front bear hug technique. Grab under his arms, drive your knee into the groin. Finish by sending him to the ground with a hip throw. Hold, lift him up, drive the knee in, around his back, and over. Now quickly. Slow motion. You see, I don't let him get a full tight grip on me. I break his grip before he can get a snug hold, and I finish him off. Now, from the rear, drop down, break his grip, elbow his solar plexus, now grab his arm, and complete a hip throw. Elbow, ready, a hip throw. Now quickly. And again in slow motion. Get the arm high over your shoulder as you complete the throw. Never attempt this on an opponent who does not know how to break fall. Now look at it from the front. Step down and away. Drive back with a sharp elbow, striking the groin or solar plexus. Secure his arm. And then go through the motion of the throw. When practicing, you do not always have to throw your opponent. Concentrate on the proper technique. This is more important sometimes for beginners. Now the complete series. I break before he can get a strong grip. Break his ribs, solar plexus, or elbow to the groin. Either area is sufficient. And complete the throw. Always hold on to the throwing arm to secure your opponent. Now, as my opponent attempts a choke, I drop my chin to avoid him getting his arm around my Adam's apple, turn it into an arm lock. Watch again. Reverse his lock, send him to the mat, applying pressure to his elbow. Look at it from the side now. My chin drops. My left hand grabs the wrist of the choking arm. My right hand applies pressure to his elbow, breaking the grip. I drop down into the back of my opponent, always concentrating on his elbow, applying pressure to the elbow, inflicting great pain. I push down, and he goes with the pressure, of course. If he resists, his arm will be broken immediately. Now I have full control over my opponent. I pull him face down into the mat. And then I hold him there until the police come or he's had enough. Quickly. Now I sidestep his kick to my groin and counter with a kick to his groin underneath his kicking leg. Very simple, very effective. The attacker attempts a choke. I drive hard underneath his elbows, drive my knee into his groin, send him flying back. When you strike his elbows, hit hard with your open palms. Follow with Hizageri. Of course, knee techniques are used when you're in close, like this situation. And push him away. Now he attempts the chokehold that I taught you earlier. To break out, I drive down with my arms and throw him to the mat. You must react very quickly when being choked. You could be knocked out within seconds once the air is cut off. Because of his tight grip, it will enable me to flip him or throw him on his back. Watch. In slow motion, I drive hard down on his arms, twist my body, which sends him on his back. Now, another defensive technique. Same choke. Down. Instead of letting him go, I apply pressure to the elbow against my knee. There are many variations to one technique. An attack from the rear. He grabs my collar. I smoothly step around to the back, break his nose with a shudo, step behind, foot sweep him to the mat. This circular step away will loosen his grip, break his nose, and with your right leg come around and foot sweep him to the ground. Slow motion. Spin around. Left arm around, holding his arm, strike his nose and drive him down. And I have his arm in an elbow lock. Now, a rear bear hug attack under your arms. Step in back of your opponent, drive him off balance, and on his back. Leverage is everything in jiu-jitsu. Regardless of your strength, if you know how to move properly, you can easily send your opponent off balance. Now, quickly. This attack could very easily happen to you today. You could be standing, waiting for a bus, minding your own business. The assault comes. Without thinking, step behind your opponent. He'll be knocked off balance. His grip will weaken. Now you're in a position to run. defending against a knife and gun. Do not panic when a weapon is shown. If you are training properly, you can react positively. Now my opponent comes straight in, stabbing at my midsection. I sidestep, grab the knife hand, punch him in the nose, and lock his arm under my armpit, breaking his elbow, and then simply taking the knife away. Sidestep the attack. You never want to catch the full force of the weapon. It would be foolish to move straight back. Quickly. Notice my deep stance for strength. In slow motion. Time it properly, move, grab that knife hand, never let it go. Then he can swing back with it. Control the weapon, drive down hard, take the weapon. Now, an overhead attack, watch carefully. Again, stepping to the side, away from the forest. Similar to the other technique, punch the nose to stun your opponent. Bring him down with a wrist lock. And as always, take the weapon. Sidestep, punch. Bend the wrist down, taking him to the mat. Now, done quickly and realistically. Slow motion. A loud shout on the punch to give you added strength and power. And victory. Drop under a knife attack to your head, kick him in the groin, follow with a knee kick to the back of the knee. A defensive technique without even touching your opponent. Drop down, kick hard into the groin, break his leg. Now we have an attack with a gun. It says hands up. Slap the gun away. Turn it into a wrist lock. The gun is always pushed out of your line of fire. If it does go off, you're not in front of it. Remember that at all times. Take the gun away and hold him at bay. Slow motion. Your hands are up. With your hands up, it's actually an advantage to this technique. Take him down. You've broken his wrist and probably his back. Take the gun away. As he searches your pocket, with your right hand, break it from his wrist and strike him with the blunt end of the gun. You're striking to the back of his skull or spine. The action is to hit the wrist and grab the muzzle with the other hand and pull it away. Grab the muzzle, break it out, come back across the jaw, breaking the attacker's jaw. Now, quickly and realistically. Now, this dire situation can be turned around into a positive escape. Watch. Roll away. Lock the gun hand with your left arm. Strike him. Pull the gun away. Now, the tables have turned. Watch the action. It says hands up. Roll away before he can fire. Secure the weapon as always. Pull it away. Your opponent won't know what hit him. Of course, this has to be done in a second. Break the nose with the open hand Shudo strike, securing his wrist. If you apply enough pressure, of course, the wrist could easily break. Another technique. Spin the opposite way. Twist his wrist forward and back, and remove the weapon. Let's look at it slowly. Now, quickly. In slow motion. We truly hope you have enjoyed this exciting video by Master Sato JuJutsu Techniques Volume 2. Other Panther training videos by great Japanese masters include Kobujitsu by Master Sugino, 10th Dan. The Complete Okinawan Goju-Ryu Karate System by Master Kai, 7th Dan. Iaido, Art of the Japanese Samurai Sword by Master Yamaguchi, 9th Dan. All these videos will really enhance your martial arts training. For a complete catalog, write Panther Productions,